Moon weapons are back with new perks, and we're gonna talk about which ones are worth farming. A quick note, some Dreaming City weapons are also back, but they're currently bugged and not dropping for most of us, so I'll make a guide when Bungie fixes that and we're actually able to farm them. I'm Apollo, and I'll be posting Destiny 2 videos every Wednesday, so if you enjoy the content, like and subscribe so you don't miss an upload. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. First, I want to explain my system for talking about god rolls. I separate them into 4 categories: PvP, low end and high end, and PvE, low end and high end as well. PvP low end assumes you're playing against plenty of uncoordinated guardians. PvP high end assumes you have comms and your opponents do as well. Also, these game modes are 3v3, so there aren't many guardians to shoot at and the frequency of engagement is lower. PvE low end takes into account enemies are fairly easy to kill. In normal raids, basic adds die quickly and difficulty comes in team coordination and mechanics, so I group raids, normal ones, as PvE low end as well. Boss DPS is another topic which I already made a guide about. PvE high end assumes even red bars are really strong and can take plenty of shots. Also that you're dealing with champions and most times than not you'll have to use primaries to stun them and to keep them stunned. Now that my system is clear, let's talk about moon weapons. The loud Lullaby. For PvP low end, I say it's great. It's the only 120 RPM you can farm right now that's able to roll with kill clip. This means you can still 2-tap people in the Crucible even after the nerf. It's great for modes with plenty of guardians where you can chain kills. I'd say every perk in the third column is great depending on your playstyle. No distractions for trading fire, tunnel vision for awesome target acquisition that also triggers at the same time as kill clip, surplus for an overall stat bump, which this gun actually needs, slide shot so you only reload to proc kill clip and then you just perma slide, moving target for passively increasing aim assist and stray speed. Heating up might be the worst to pair with kill clip though, as it triggers after a kill and not after a reload. Another alternative for kill clip could be Eye of the Storm if you want a more consistent option. The perk increases accuracy when you're wounded, which happens all the time when dueling in PvP. For barrels and mags, go for stability, some range, handling and reload speed. Range is important, but this gun really needs stats, so you shouldn't be running with full bore. Flare Magwell could be a great option to pair with kill clip and accurate rounds, remains a great mag perk. For barrels, Hammerforge and Smallbore are the best options unless you really want handling and don't care much about range. For Masterworks, go for stability or reload speed if you're pairing it with kill clip and range. PvP high end. I'd say it's good. The kill clip god roll becomes a bit less valuable here when you might be looking for consistency. You could go with Eye of the Storm instead of kill clip and have a decent dueling gun. Also, no distractions could be more valuable. Everything else from the previous section applies here. PvE low end. I say it's good. You gotta roll with Slide Shot and Frenzy. And Frenzy on its own can make a gun viable in PvE. Gives you increased handling, reload speed and damage on the same perk. So you basically got all you need. Pair it with Slide Shot or Surplus for even better ease of use and you got a great gun. 120s are not the most popular PvE archetype, but if you need one for a specific reason, you got a good option here. PvE high end. I say it's good. Frenzy really shines here as encounters tend to last way longer. Surplus becomes even more valuable than Slide Shot because sometimes you just can't be sliding around as freely as you'd like. If you're using mods against champions, you'll want to reload as fast as you can to avoid having to wait for reload animations while that champion is regaling its health. So for both PvE categories, you want as much reload speed and stability as you can get. One small step. PvE low end, I'd say it's bad. You could make it work, but it's not particularly good for ad clear. You could go for Trench Barrel or One for All, but honestly, I wouldn't equip this unless it's the only gun in my inventory and I'm doing a bounty. PvE high end? Bad as well. In high end PvE, you really don't want to be close enemies, and the best roll would be something with Trench Barrel and maybe Surplus or Slide Shot, but honestly, you don't want a shotgun for this kind of content unless something changes in the future. PvP low end. Bad. Rapid fire frames are a bit more viable after the aggressive shotgun nerf, so you could make it work with something like Slide Shot and Trench Barrel or Swashbuckler, but you would have to swap the order of attacks you normally do. Normally you shoot your gun and then you melee. For this to work, you should do the opposite, which is counterintuitive. PvP high end? Bad. Same thing. Just stop. Tranquility. For PvE low end, it's okay. You got Frenzy, and you know I love Frenzy. So paired with Surplus or Feeding Frenzy, it shouldn't be a half bad option. Also, Demolitionist isn't too bad for a sniper, as you can get the grenade energy almost on demand, as every shot should be a kill. This would be more of a bounty pick for me though. PvE high end. It's okay. If you need a kinetic sniper for a champion mod, and don't have a good Succession or Predator's Revenge, then a roll with Frenzy and Surplus is a good alternative. Remember, Frenzy triggers even if you're not using the gun, so it will be up almost every time you need to quick swap to the sniper. But don't count on that if you're fighting at a very long distance and not getting shot at. PvP low end, it's good. I'd say the only interesting role though would be with Elemental Capacitor and Surplus or Under Pressure, as you can get a great feeling sniper if you're using an ARC subclass. Elemental Capacitor boosts your handling and Surplus also does that, so you can get an insanely fast gun if you build around it. PvP high end? Good as well. This doesn't change much here, as the previous role is a consistency one, which is what you want here. Only thing is that you are tied to an ARC subclass to make this work. ARC Logic. For PvE low end, it's great. You got Frenzy, Surplus or Feeding Frenzy. If you need an ARC now in Hunger, then this is it. Frenzy is great for auto rifles, especially for mowing down waves of enemies. I would even go as far as using it for ad clearing raids. PvE high end, great as well. Again, here I'd go with Frenzy and Surplus, as you won't get as many kills to trigger Feeding Frenzy as you'd like. If there are AR champion mods and you're fighting ARC shields, then this is a great option. PvP low end, good. Surplus, Heating Up, Tunnel Vision, Killing Wind, these all help, paired with Elemental Capacitor or maybe even Wellspring for an ability based build. Also, that perk synergizes well with Surplus, so you could make this work. PvP high end? I say it's okay. If you're really up for making this AR work, then go ahead. I still wouldn't use it though. At the time of making this video, the meta hasn't settled yet, but I don't see this becoming the new meta. At least not yet, we'll see. Dreambreaker. For PvE low end, I'd say it's okay. You got Frenzy, Kickstart and Cornered. If you have a Solar and Fusion Rifle bounty, then go ahead. But this gun is competing with Null Composure and Plug 1, which both can roll Reservoir Burst. It seems like a solid alternative though. PvE high end, I say it's bad. Unless we get Fusion Rifle champion mods in a season, I see no reason to use this in high end PvE. If we do, maybe Kickstart or Frenzy would be good, as you want a quick stun with Kickstart or sustain damage with Frenzy. PvP low end? It's okay. Sure, Kickstart, Under Pressure, even Heating Up sounds nice, but again, you are competing against better PvP options like Plug 1. PvP high end? Bad. If you're using this here, it's because you don't have a better option. You're competing even against Bastion in this category if what you want is to make a viable high-end PvP loadout revolving around fusion rifles. Every Waking Moment. For PvE low end, it's okay. Got Firefly and Ambitious Assassin with maybe a reload mag. That's the only role I try to get for PvE. PvE high end, it's okay. If you have SMG champion mods and you need a Void option, then sure. This SMG has to compete against Shayura's Rat though. Maybe multi-kill clip or Wellspring if you are dependent on your abilities, Stasis Turrets maybe, but very situational. PvP low end, it's okay. Just get Shayura's Rat when it's the 3 wins reward in trials though. It's better in every single way. If you insist, then multi-kill clip or Elemental Capacitor with Heating Up or Rangefinder. Actually, Rangefinder may be able to make this compete in terms of range with Shayura's. If you get one with Rangefinder, try it out and let me know in the comments. PvP high end. It might be okay, but it's the same thing I just said before. Just get Shayura's Rat when it's the 3 win rewards. Love and Death. For PvE low end, I say it's great. You got Chain Reaction or Demolitionist with auto-loading, Clown Cartridge or Surplus. This is a solar ad clearing machine, and solar explosions can make Warmine cells with the correct mods, so I can see myself farming for an auto-loading or Clown Cartridge with Chain Reaction. PvE high end. It's okay. You wouldn't normally use your heavy slot for ad clear, and there are not many perks here that help with single target DPS. So for me, it's a pass, unless you're using Izanagi's Burden and you need some solar ad clear for some reason. For PvP, low end and high end, I say it's bad, because it doesn't have any perk that's particularly good for PvP. So you may want to use something else here. A fine memorial. For PvE low end, I say it's good. You got Frenzy or One for All and Subsistence, auto-loading and Clown Cartridge. Subsistence is great for LMGs as you almost never have to reload when clearing ads. Thing is, there are better options for ad clear and you are using the heavy slot for that. PvE high end, I say it's bad. LMGs are gonna get buffed soon as they perform poorly in PvE against high health enemies, so I'd say get an auto-loading and Frenzy roll and wait and see how strong they become. If they become viable in the future, this could be a good arc option. PvP low end, it's okay, you could go with Snapshot and Heating Up, but this isn't particularly great. PvP high end, it's okay, same thing applies here, however, you have way better options in this slot. Night Terror. For PvE low end, that's good. You got decent rolls here. You got Vorpal, One for All and Surrounded, so it's a great heavy, sword and arc bounty completion machine. For PvE high end, it's bad. This archetype is not particularly good right now, so I wouldn't advise you using this over more powerful swords. Also, Bungie hasn't said anything about buffing this kind of swords, and swords in general are not too popular in high-end PvE as you don't want to get that close to enemies that can one-shot. PvP low-end, it's bad. You can use it and get kills, sure, but nothing particularly good about this sword. Also, tree picking is going away soon, so there's that. PvP high-end, bad as well. If you have no other sword and really want to use one, then go ahead. That's not a great option. These are all the moon weapons and the rolls I think are the better ones. Most of these are not incredibly good, and as you may have noticed, I skipped the details on the not so interesting ones. I will still advise you to get the interesting rolls even if the weapon archetypes are not great right now, because things can change really quickly. And now more than ever that Bungie seems to be updating the sandbox more frequently, which is great, IMO. If you like this guide and this scoring system, leave a like and consider subscribing. Did I miss a role you really like? Tell me in the comments. But that's it for now. I'm Apollo, and I'm out.